Good afternoon, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The new design for the Wickham Transport Interchange has been revealed. The Premier says it will link light rail, intercity trains, buses and taxis. The interchange will be built in between the Renault dealership and the multi-storey car park in Stewart Avenue and is expected to open in mid-2017. Mike Bede says the new design reflects community feedback after the initial plan was described by some as a glorified cowshed.
This is an opportunity to get it right, and I certainly think that's what we've done. And I love the fact that it reflects on the history of the city. I love the fact that it provides accessibility in terms of interchange between the heavy rail and light rail, and also the fact that there's open space and retail space. An attractive place to come, using transport easy, a great landmark as part of the city.
However, Newcastle MP Tim Crackenthorpe says he's concerned the proposed interchange will create a traffic bottleneck.
Look, it may well look very pretty at the moment, but we've still not seen any detailed analysis of the impact of traffic on Stewart Avenue with the interchange. And look, people complained about the traffic when rail went across, but this just seems to be a repeat. And their own papers have revealed that the initial traffic modelling impact would actually make things worse than they currently are.
Federal Labor member for Charlton Pat Conroy has voted against the party's plans to turn back refugee boats. The policy, adopted at the ALP National Conference over the weekend, encourages the safe turning back of illegal refugee boats, a greater intake of refugees and improved conditions in detention centres. However, Pat Conroy says the turning back of boats is not necessary.
I think that a strong border policy was possible without turning back the boats, but the future Labor government does have at its disposal turn back the boats when it's safe to do so. We had a good debate. There was plenty of merit on both sides of the argument.
He also threw his support behind a binding vote for same-sex marriage. Newcastle Greens councillor Michael Osborne has been pre-selected for a Senate ticket for the next federal election. The Deputy Lord Mayor has been serving the region since 2004 and has been placed second on the ballot behind sitting Senator Lee Rhiannon. Councillor Osborne says there's a positive outlook for the Greens in the Hunter.
The Hunter Valley really is where things are happening in terms of impacts on people and impacts on the environment from a whole range of developments and proposals. So I think it really does demonstrate that the Greens are standing up for people and standing up for the environment, and that's seen in the result.
The Hunter Medical Research Institute is playing a role in a new brain study focusing on blast exposure and post-traumatic stress disorder. The project, involving Newcastle researchers, will scan the brains of 100 Australian soldiers before and after their deployment in war zones. Researcher Scott Quadrelli says conducting this study in Newcastle is exciting.
We are hoping to find a chemical signature in the brains of people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. There are other studies running on the MRI scanner at HMRI. It's very exciting, and we're thrilled to be able to use their MRI scanner in Newcastle.
Briefly, Premier Mike Bede has announced Newcastle's Calvary Mater Hospital will be involved in the first part of a medical cannabis trial for terminally ill adults, with 30 patients to be enrolled in the program. And 3 teenage boys are due to front court today, accused of leading police on a pursuit in a stolen car at Cardiff early this morning, which they also allegedly used in 2 earlier robberies.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor Warners Bay Sports Club.
Knights coach Rick Stone says their crushing 52 points to 6 loss to the Rabbitohs on Saturday was embarrassing. He says the more experienced members of the team know what's required but fail to deliver.
You know, we've got a few players there that played a fair bit of NRL, and what they served up at the start of the match, particularly in the first half, is not to NRL standard.
Lakes United has maintained their march towards the Newcastle Rugby League semi-finals with a 36-22 win over cellar dwellers Maitland. Despite a shaky start, the South Cardiff Gunners staged an upset 3-1 victory over Broadmeadow in the Northern New South Wales National Premier League. The Gunners are in last place on the NPL ladder and are desperate to avoid relegation from the competition. And Merewether Carlton scored a heart-stopping 21-20 win over competition leaders Hamilton at the weekend, thanks to a late penalty goal to end the Hawks' unbeaten run in the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union. To NURFM News Time, 12:10.